Hi you guys, this is Jamie with Whatever's Clever Boutique, and today we're going to be doing a fun teacher tumbler for Teacher Appreciation Day coming up and end of school. So I'm going to start with a glittered tumbler. I used a mixture of Bright, Opal Majesty, Nookie, and Stardust from Peachy Olive Glitters to get this gorgeous custom mix. And then I'm going to take this really pretty semi-transparent vinyl called Arts and Crafts from Banff Custom Creation. And I end up going away with the composition book Decal, but I had that from the very beginning pulled out. I wanted to use it and it just didn't work. So I did transition quite a few times on this tumbler, as you will see coming up here soon. So I'm going to do a V split here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that vinyl in half and just cut that right down the middle. And then I'm going to apply it to the top of the tumbler today. So I just kind of get it lined up, and then I'm going to go ahead and peel off just a little bit of that backing, trim it off, and start laying the vinyl. And if you guys do not have this squeegee from the Bowen LLC, it has changed the game in laying vinyl. So as far as trimming the vinyl here, I'm kind of going to cut around some of the little elements, and I'm going to peel that back and then pull that excess down that's underneath there. And then we're going to do the same for the top that we're laying down as well. So I'm going to go ahead and trim around that paintbrush and pencil, and then trim off any excess to make sure nothing's laying over top of one another. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and kind of pop any of those air bubbles that are in there. And then I felt like there was just an empty spot in the top, so I cut out a couple of these little polka dots from that little sheet that I cut off when I was cutting the excess. So I just cut those two little polka dots out and set them in that little blank spot. And then I'm going to go around and trim the rim. I'm kind of angling my X-Acto knife so that it's cutting downward a bit. That way the vinyl's just not sitting on that top rim there. We definitely don't want that. Now we're going to go ahead and create our notebook. So I have this this nail tape that is a light blue and a metallic red. And I'm taking my Cami Page Boutique all-in-one tool here and just creating that straight line so I can be sure to lay my little red line for the notebook perfectly straight. Now this is a little bit labor intensive, but I love the way it turned out. So I'm just going to take that nail tape, and if you've watched me in the past, you know I'm not a big measurer. I just eyeball things and I go with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that all laid down. I'll let you guys kind of watch here. I'll speed it up a bit, but I just keep laying as I move down the tumbler. Once we get that all wrapped around in our pinstriping, we're gonna go in with a black pinstriping. Oh, and I forgot to trim off a little bit of that blue there that overlapped. I'm gonna go in with some black pinstriping and just follow along that V line on both sides. Once we get that all wrapped, we're going to trim off that excess, and I actually did seal this all with quick coat since we have a whole bunch of pinstriping going on here. And then I'm going to go in with 1 coat of epoxy. And I did notice a little air bubble as I was laying the epoxy, so I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, slice that, and then press it down. And once we get all of that epoxy on, covering the entire tumbler, we are going to take our torch and pop any of those air bubbles. Now for decal time. I got this super cute ABC decal off of Etsy. I'll go ahead and link it in the description box below. And I'm going to use this gorgeous rainbow vinyl from Tech Wrap Craft and then just some plain black. And here I'm taking all the little polka dots and I'm just hand placing those onto the little offset sections. And then I'm just going to peel back that backing from my decal and lay it all in one fell swoop. And I had success, thank goodness. No recutting today. And I'm going to lay this decal right there in the notebook section that we created in the step prior. I initially wanted to put the composition notebook decal down on the bottom here, but kind of pivoted from that idea and decided to try and put that on the back because I love this little decal. And so then I apply it to the back and then just really don't love it and kind of bounce some ideas off of some friends. So I end up pivoting from this as well, as you'll see here in a second. This was a tough tumbler for me. It took a while. A lot of creative frustration went into this one, but in the end it turned out fabulous. But sometimes that's just how these tumblers come about. So I added some holographic pinstriping there over top of that black, and I'm removing that composition decal, as you can see. And my friend Rachel suggested to maybe do some silhouettes and some little school elements layered on top of that vinyl, because I just felt like there wasn't enough difference between the top and the bottom section of the tumbler, since the glitter carries through the entire tumbler. So here I am adding those little decals, and I used a holographic Tech Wrap Craft vinyl for this. And I ended up really liking how it was turning out at this point. So I was really excited. And I went to go apply my epoxy and I was like, you know what? I'm going to add some extra sparkle in here as well. So I took Ella from Peachy Olive Glitters and just kind of sprinkled that into that upper little doodle section we have going on there. So as you can see here, I just sprinkled it kind of throughout that top section. And I love how it turned out here. So after I did 1 coat of epoxy, I sanded that rim, went in with 1 more final coat of epoxy, and it was all done. I do really love how this turned out. It took me a minute to get there, but ultimately we did, and it is so cute. I will have all of the items that I used listed and linked in the description box below. If you love this tutorial and want to see more in the future, hit that bell button, go ahead and subscribe, And I would love to hear from you in the comments if you have any questions or if you just liked it. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. I may have another surprise teacher Tumbler tutorial coming your way here in a few days, so keep an eye on that. And another little tip is maybe keep an eye on the shorts that I'm posting here recently. Hint, hint. Have a good one.